Thank you for being here today. This is Burn the Ship podcast, where we inspire entrepreneurs to go all in by connecting them with professionals that can help them do it. So today, our guest is Chantelle. Thank you for being here, Miss Owens.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm excited as well. And like I said, I was saying earlier before we really came into the podcast room, is like your event, your celebration event was like one of the events I have, one of the very few networking events that I have that stuck in my head in a very specific, unique way. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell people what your business is?
Sure. My name is Chantelle Owens, and I am the CEO and founder of Georgia Tax Lien Bootcamp. And that is a educational platform. We teach people how to invest in real estate, and really more importantly, how to create financial freedom and generational wealth through real estate, and specifically through tax lien investing.
Sure. So how did you get into real estate in general, and specifically, do you have like an affinity for teaching, or what was that look like?
Those are great questions, because I didn't know I was going to do either one of those. So I got into real estate really because I was tired of corporate America, and I had a coworker that offered me $8,000 to use my credit. And at that time, I was making about $30,000 and had never had $8,000 lump sum.
Right.
So I was like, $8,000? Okay, sure. And it worked out. And I did that 3 more times. And I was like, you know what? There's a better way. And really started studying real estate, because on my 3rd time closing, I actually began to understand the closing statements. Because the first 2 times, just signing my name away, just excited about the money. But the 3rd time, I really started to look at the closing documents and realized that the people that were paying me $8,000, they were making like $110,000. So I was like, I want to do what they're doing, And so just took that chance and really started studying real estate. And soon enough, I was telling my job to kick rocks, because I was making more in real estate.
Sure. Sure. So what does that tax lien boot camp mean? What does that mean when someone, what is an ideal client for you there at the tax lien boot camp, and what are they learning?
So tax lien boot camp is, we really wanted to help people visualize a place where they're not only just going to learn theory, but they're going to actually put their hands on, and they're going to have a coach who's guiding them, and more like a drill sergeant. Like, no, don't step to the right. They want to go to the right, and we're like, no, get back over here. Because tax liens is almost like stepping through mines. You really have to be careful. So, that's what the tax lien boot camp represents. And really, our ideal client are people who are, sick and tired of their job. Really me, somebody who was not, excited in their corporate job, and that are looking for a better way to create freedom from themselves, so they could choose what they want to do in life. They could, do those things that are on their bucket list. So.
Sure. So tell me, what is a tax lien? Like, what does that mean for people that aren't familiar with that term? When you say, someone was paying you to use your credit, what does that process mean, and how are people making money?
Okay, so those are 2 separate things, because I went through so many other stages of real estate before I got to tax liens. But with tax liens, a tax lien is simply someone, owns a home, and the county sends them a tax bill and they don't pay. The county, in turn, needs those funds because they provide services for everybody in the community. Teachers, policemen, firemen, water, utilities, schools, public health, all those things that the county provide, they still need those funds. So basically, the state has said, county, we're going to give you the power to levy or to take that property and get what's owed to you, through auction, right? And then, whatever is left over will go to the homeowner. But that's just a way for the county to continue to be able to function. So the county, if they're not paid, they will place a lien on that property. And that's what's called a tax lien.
And so you, as the agent, basically purchasing the tax lien?
So so it could be an agent or just an investor. So you don't have to be a licensed real estate agent to purchase a tax lien. So really, it's a public auction. So anyone who goes there, and typically in a lot of states, particularly in Georgia, it's the highest bidder wins.
Sure, sure. And then so what does, I go to this public sale, this public auction, and I win the bid. What do I do from there?
So from there, it really depends on what state you're in, right? Because you have the county can sell that lien in a couple different ways. They can sell it as a tax deed or a tax lien certificate. So if it's a tax lien certificate, then you're really just going to be entitled to interest on your money. So if the homeowner wants to come back and redeem, they'll have to pay you what you paid at auction plus whatever percentage is guaranteed by the state. If it's a tax deed, on the other hand, then as soon as you receive that tax deed, that property is actually yours.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it depends on what that value is, kind of the way, or what state you're in, that how they handle that transaction.
Yes.
But just so I can pause right there and take a deep breath and understand what you're saying here, is that there are people out there that are owing tax to their county or municipality that they're in. They're not able to pay that. So they have the ability to seize that property and basically sell that property to someone on the assumption that the tax debt that is owed to whatever municipality is going to be settled.
Correct.
Well, I hope that a lot of people let that simmer in, because
Me too.
There's examples out there where people are, and you probably speak to this, what are some of the really big wins in this scenario that you've experienced or some of your students have experienced?
Well, I mean, that's all over the place. Like if I look at my most profitable investments, there were originally properties that I purchased for under $10,000. One in particular I purchased for $4,500. At the time, the property was only worth about $40,000. But this particular neighborhood, within the course of 4 years, just started booming. And that same property is worth $500,000 right now. And I purchased it for $4,500.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
And I purchased a couple in that neighborhood because nobody else wanted it. So I was like, well, that's the only thing I could get right now. Let me get that, right? Because I understood how real estate goes in cycles. So.
Sure. And that's the art of it, right? Is understanding that cycle and where you can step in that's going to be a profitable investment for you. Do you have to put money to rehab a lot of these places in?
Oh, yes, most definitely. Especially those properties, nobody wanted them. They were in, not so good neighborhoods. They were, had been left vacant, for years. So, I mean, each one of those properties, I had to put a minimum of $50,000 into the property.
Yeah, but you're still talking about almost 10x in your money.
Yes.
With your investment. So that's really what I want to kind of hunker in on, is that you've really become this expert in seeing these opportunities and this value within real estate. And a lot of people talk about, your house is your biggest asset, where really a lot of the times, your income is your biggest asset. Your house is a lot of the times your biggest liability. It's your biggest expense, depending on what it is. But you guys have approached real estate in a way that continues to make that loop profitable. It's like you're only looking at, this opportunity is going to be worth this amount if we put this much time and energy and wait for the real estate cycle to run the right way. How did you develop that eye? How did you develop that skill? How can other people develop that skill or eye? What do they learn when they come to you in boot camp to develop that eye to be able to say, now I understand what it is and why I should purchase this investment? Because I've seen people buy tax liens at six-figure prices, so the norm isn't those, 4-digit purchase amounts. You still buy tax liens at a large price sometimes. So how do you develop that?
So I think it was by necessity, as I said before. So, within tax lien investing, you have a lot of hedge funds that come, and swoop in and buy a lot of properties, but they're looking for a specific property. So I had to figure out, how can I maneuver around that process? My pockets, obviously, still today is not as long as, most hedge funds. So,
Sure.
Really, how could I get around that? And so going to auction, it's like anything else when you,
What is that?
is it an airplane?
God. Is it going to land on our building?
I was trying to ignore it.
Oh my God. I've never heard one that loud. Did it take off in bent water? Sheesh. I'm sorry.
Was it a helicopter?
I don't know. Was it?
It was so close. It seemed like it had to be.
I thought it was a motorcycle on the sidewalk. Golly. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Keep going.
I didn't know if we should keep going or
I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think about that. We need to tighten up our studio.
We'll never know.
No, and we'll never know. Literally, we'll never know. We need to put a poll on our Instagram about what that was. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Do I need to start over or how does that go? Or
No.
should I? Okay.
So, what did I just ask?
You were asking me how I developed that eye.
Yeah. Just keep going where you are. Keep going.
Okay, I don't exactly remember where I was.
You can start over if you want.
Okay. All right. So I think that I developed that particular eye because it was a necessity. I mean, dealing with or going to auctions and seeing the hedge funds, outbid not only me, but everybody else.
Right.
But then also realizing that there were still properties left over that they didn't want. And really taking a look at those properties. And so they were really undesirable properties. But after I began to really look at the properties, I really realized that for me, the value didn't matter so much as, how, if I could cash flow the property, if I could put a tenant in the property, rent it out, eventually, recap my initial investment and, then everything else would be a return on top of that. And so that was my original strategy with that. And then the value of the properties, by default just grew, which helped me understand, begin to look at that. Like, where can I find properties that, are going to be, close to an area that's going to be built up soon, and that's just really figuring out, like, what areas is closest to the metro area that hasn't been developed yet, because
Sure.
that's going to be the next area to get developed.
Sure.
So basically just, I think with anything, you have to be in it, practicing it, and then you start to see, the loopholes or, the ways to, pull yourself up and, the ways around, the challenges if you just stick with it and, understand it.
Sure. So tell me and still today, just so I understand, you still buy tax liens. You're still an agent within the real estate sphere as well as you're running Georgia Tax Lien Boot Camp. Where did you develop this inclination to teach other people this?
So I actually am not investing anymore. I haven't invested in 2 years because real estate is actually not my passion. And a lot of people are really surprised to learn that because I've been at it so long. But real estate was always a means to an end for me. And, at that 2 years ago, I just decided to start going down my bucket list. And one of my friends, she actually owns a real estate investor association, South Atlanta REIA. I'm not for sure if you're familiar with it. Stacy Rossetti. She asked me to come teach, and I never taught before. And she just like, you have too much knowledge about tax liens, so you should teach. So I, put together something, and my first class was a hit. The students loved it. They were asking me, could you make an advanced class? And there was really so much fulfillment for me to see people get it and go do it and want to practice or be able to, help them bridge that gap. Like, that feeling was so fulfilling to me, because when you hit financial freedom, a lot of people think that, life is just grand and golden. Well, yeah, your financial life is, but you still have to find things that fulfill you. And so that feeling of fulfillment, came through teaching and really helping other people.
Sure. And you've been teaching how long now?
It's been 4 years now, almost 5 years.
And you guys have helped, how many students you guys think you have?
Oh, we have about 8,000 students
Oh,
that
my goodness.
yeah. So, and that's, across different levels because we have like
Sure.
an introductory level and 2 advanced levels, right? So
Sure.
we have about 2,200 advanced level students that we've helped.
Sure. And you guys have seen this create generational wealth for
Yes.
people.
I mean,
and
day
time again.
one. Like,
Yeah, literally. Literally. That's what I was saying about the event is like, you see, it's all about timing that opportunity. Like it's like kind of the opposite of the stock market to me. Is like the stock market is you're looking at time in is the way to succeed, not timing. Like a lot of people want that 10,000% return, but it's not really. It's not a frequent normal thing that happens in the stock market. Whereas this tax lien real estate investing is that you are literally looking for that deal and good timing and to get this one thing at the right price that can change your life forever. You're making 6 figures sometimes off of these one deal, this one unique deal. So how, as you're teaching these people and you see these people kind of creating that generational wealth, where do you guys go from here? Like you're putting the tools in people's hand that they need to really create the life that they want to live. Where do you go from here? Because it seems every day that. And are you still really hands-on with the teaching? Is it still you doing the teaching, or do you have a team that's kind of doing that as well? Like, where does that fulfillment continue to grow to for your business?
So one of the things that was also on my bucket list was to build a scalable business, right? Because I had built businesses before, but it was just like a 1 or 2 man team.
Sure.
No real systems in place, none of that. And so as I started to study business, I was like, I could do that. And so a lot of my fulfillment comes from being a CEO and just proving to myself that I could build a business and a team, because I really don't like working with people, to be honest with you. I do like helping people, but just in terms of managing people, is not, my forte. And so I'm just really stretching myself and challenging myself with that. And I'm growing and enjoying that growth in the process. I'm picking those things that are not my strong sets and working on them. And so that's, very fulfilling when you can do that. And so that's what my focus is. Yes, I'm still very close to the teaching. And at the same time, my team is being trained to do it. So we have other trainers who actually facilitate the entire training. I'm just there to, lend my experience and be the face and, all those good things. But I am slowly but surely, kind of moving back from that and really focusing on being a CEO because my passion, I realized in teaching, is more so teaching people business than necessarily investing.
Exactly. And I've always said the same thing. Is like, I can teach you, I'm not going to teach people about credit card processing, I guess, unless you work here, but I like to teach people, like, really when we find these new businesses, is like, I love to share what I know about sales and my sales experience. I get a fulfillment of that, of like, hey, take a look at this part of your process, or take a look at this part of your marketing, and maybe you can find some more efficient use of that time.
We might have to have you come over.
For sure. Well, it's fun. It's fun to me. Like, I say this all the time, is like, I love clients. I love money. It helps me and my 4-year-old do whatever we want. We love it. But I get serious fulfillment out of giving some of that back. You know what I mean? Like giving some of that back and creating that and helping, watching, not even helping. I don't even have to have helping is too much. Like I take some portion of the credit. Just watching people that I pour into build something matters to me.
Yeah.
Like that's where I receive my fulfillment. You guys, a lot of doing the same thing, but it's so realistic. Is like, I say this all the time, is like, we're credit card processors. Business services is never going to be the reason that you succeed. Like, you're never going to have, your business services are so tight and your rates are so good that you're going to succeed. There's just no way. It's like, that's a drop in the bucket compared to what you're doing marketing and clients wise, and how you're actually rendering the service and what you're doing on your legal front. Like, there's so much more important stuff than credit card processing. what I think is so
But
unique.
it's important.
It is. And the other half of that statement is it can definitely be the reason that you're not.
Yes.
Your business services absolutely can be the reason that you're not successful.
Yes.
What is so unique about what you guys are doing is that you are bringing not necessarily a new business model, but a way for people to really take advantage of what is going on out there in the market and what that skill is. Like, you're bringing a whole new revenue stream to people. You're creating a way that people within their environment can go and kind of repurpose their own knowledge to people that are close to them. Like, if they're the fulfillment, like you said, of investing versus teaching people to invest is a completely different thing. I get that from credit card processing. Like, I get some fulfillment out of helping people save money and run a more efficient business and be set up for success as far as credit card processing goes. But when we really get to put some money back in people's pockets, or if we had a way to teach people how to run a really successful business like we're doing now, that is what's important and exciting to me. Like this platform, the platform that you guys have, and that's why I think they jive so well together. I really do. I'm really excited about what you guys have going on. And I highly recommend anyone in the audience that's looking to really understand and take advantage of what tax lien and how you can make money on these things, because like Chantelle said, is like you can be 10, 15, 20x your own money. Like, you can be 20x your own investment there. I've seen it happen before. Like, I've seen people make tons of money and it literally changed their life. Like, you see people one week, you see people the next week, and they're different people based on experience that they've had in this tax lien area. So I highly recommend people check it out. I highly recommend people learn something from you. But what is it that, like you said, you could probably name off a handful of guys there, or organizations or people that are doing something similar to what you guys are doing with tax lien school. What would you be doing if you weren't doing what you are doing?
That's very interesting, because I didn't plan to be doing this. Right. I had planned to, what was the next things? So I said CEO, right? So it was going to be some type of company that I wanted to build. But the next two things that I wanted to do, or, still plan to do, is I'd like to be a DJ. Not for money, but just because I want to, I think I could be a pretty nice DJ. So, that'll be my next thing. And then also I want to go to law school. Yeah. Again, not because I want to be, a practicing attorney, but it's just something I feel like I would be really great at. Sure. So just, Where
are you going to go?
I'm not for sure. Actually, I was talking to my attorney about this, and he was like, "Listen, you don't need to go to some fancy law school, because you know the way your mind works, you'll catch on, and you'll do better with it. Working in an attorney office, so you can really pick whatever law school you want to go to, and so they have some local law schools here as well. So just thinking about it.
Yeah, some really good programs too, and they have specific programs as well. As like if you want to get really specific as real estate goes, they have people that are resources for you in that front as well. But that's exciting. Like I really want for people to understand to get that you are a valuable resource for people that are looking to burn the ship. To people that are looking to get entrepreneurial. I mean, if you're looking to get entrepreneurial, you're a resource. Like, you can really teach people how to run and create something that's very profitable for them and their family and the rest of their lives. That's why I think that you guys are so neat. That's why I wanted to have you guys on today. Is like, there's a lot going on in that world. And there's a lot of stuff that is intentionally kept secret.
Yes, especially with tax liens.
Well, I had never heard of it. I had literally never heard of, I just thought houses get foreclosed on and banks take the foreclosure and then everybody goes on about their business. Nobody, taxes, nobody, if you don't pay your taxes, what really happens? That's what is in everybody's mind.
That's what most people think. They think it's like a water bill. It's like, oh, I'll get to it when I get to it. Like, but it's not. It's not happening like that.
And it compounds quickly.
Yes.
So that it's a unique thing. You guys have got a unique thing and definitely a unique train of thought. So how can people find you if they're looking to have a conversation with you? They're looking to take part in the tax lien boot camp.
Yeah, sure. Well, one, we're on everywhere social media. So, I think IG is probably our preferred platform, but we're everywhere. So we're GA
Your
Tax
brand is
Lien.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's GA Tax Lien Boot Camp everywhere. And then if they want to take our introductory class, which is a free class, that's my give back, to the world is, you get the basic information for free. That they can register for that class at introwebinar.gataxlienbootcamp.com.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's really how you, and we have a webinar every second Wednesday of the month, so they can join us, and that's
Learn
the first
something.
step. Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's exciting. I really hope people take advantage of this and give you a call because I can see that this, this content, this interview, and the direction that you guys are going in business is really exciting. I want to continue to learn more as we continue to diversify what we do here. And I hope we can be a help. I hope we can really help and drive some people that, like I said, the day that people start buying houses with credit cards is going to be a good day for me.
Yeah.
Because I know a ton of real estate
Yeah.
agents. I've been networking and knocking on doors and doing all that a long time. So when that happens, and homeowners, you need to take credit cards.
Well, they're already
for
doing it
houses.
with tax liens.
Absolutely, they are. They absolutely are. So anybody that I can point in that direction, that there is some real money making opportunity there. And I hate when I see, because people do this in credit card processing too, is they get in, they think they're going to kill it, and then they kind of flounder. They don't really get a lot of help. They don't really get a lot of accountability or oversight. That isn't you. You have a real school here that inspires action. Like I saw it with my own eyes that people are, hey, I learned from you, took your advanced class, and I went and bought some stuff, and I'm going to make some money now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like that. That's powerful. What you guys got going on are powerful. So I hope we can, link some people to some other stuff.
Yes.
And really talk about it more and get more chatter behind you guys, because it's really exciting. The way that you guys are positioning yourselves are really exciting. So, what do you think about people burning the ship? If someone's in there's someone out there right now that's listening to this podcast. It's, a Friday in their corporate office. They're ready for the weekend. They're opposite of ready for next week, the beginning of next week. They don't want to come back to work, and they're looking for something. They've got some money saved up. They've got, whatever that looks like, and they say, oh, maybe this is an opportunity for me. Would you tell those people to burn the ship?
Well, I'm a burn the ship person, but I realize everybody's not. So, if, I'm always willing to bet on me. I'm willing to take whatever consequences come. But I just believe that there's something magical when you back yourself up against the wall and you don't have a choice.
Right.
Like, it pumps your blood to really move, and that's really just the first or the most important step, is to take action, and so yes, I would tell people to burn the ship. Now, that being said,
reasonably,
what we do teach people, just because from teaching I understand that most people are not going to burn that ship, right? It's just only a few, but
right. Well, that's a part of you guys' trick. It's like I said, you inspire action.
Yeah. So what we do say is, at least start that plan to burn the ship.
For sure.
At least what we teach is, build your assets at least to the point where it'll bring you enough money that you're making what you're making on that job.
Mm-hmm.
And then burn that shit.
Burn it.
Yes.
Get it out of there.
Yeah. I mean, because the people that I've taught that and that have done that, we all said the same thing, which is, why didn't I do that sooner?
Yeah. And they all give you a real big hug every time they see you.
Yes.
Every time they see you.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming out. I really do appreciate it. I hope everyone that is listening that's looking for something like this really heeds the understanding of what's going on here, because there's big money to be made. Truly.
I did want to say one thing that I forgot to say.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
In that free class, we also offer CE credits for real estate agents. So if they want to come and get their 3 hours of CE, we offer that as well.
You need a CE credit.
Yes.
You're just like the tax liens. You've been going to get to it for a while. You've been thinking about it. It's in the back of your mind. It's a great source.
Yep.
So yeah, I appreciate you coming out.
Thank
I
you
really
for
look
having
forward.
me.
Hopefully we can have some people, maybe somebody who get connected with you and they'll go through it, and then maybe we have another
Come
one of these
back.
podcasts with you and a success story here.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes.
Because there's a lot. I literally probably know a dozen people that have went through your school.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Peter, I've been friends with Peter for a long time though.
Okay. Yes.
You know, so Peter's introducing people, and she's like, "Oh, went through Chantelle's boot camp." I'm like,
Okay.
"Oh,
Awesome.
okay."
Awesome.
You know, so it's
Awesome.
immediately a check mark in the right direction.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Well, thank you for coming out.
Thanks
like
for
I said.
having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.